Marketer of the Day, episode 553, Chatbot Nation. Have more effective customer conversations, increase engagement, and build a cutting-edge sales funnel with Peter Lisoskie.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're chatting with Peter Lisoskie, and he's the founder of chatbotnation.co. And Peter is here to explain to us about what chatbots are and how we can improve our customer experience 24/7. And Peter has a background in product development, and he helps companies develop and deploy a chatbot strategy to support their brand, delivering a winning customer experience. So Peter, glad to be talking to you today.
Yeah, it's good to be talking with you too, Robert. It's there's been a lot of fun things going on and a lot of changes in the world here lately too. We can talk about as well.
Well, cool. Yeah, I mean, exciting, cutting edge stuff. It seems like stuff changes up every couple of weeks here. And just to make sure that we're just all starting on the same page here, when we talk about chatbots, what the heck are they? Can you sort of set things up so that way when we say this word chatbots, everyone knows exactly what we're talking about here?
Sure. Yeah, chatbots, there's actually kind of a couple things I call chatbots and then bots, and we'll explain both of them to your audience, Robert. Chatbots are really a software service or software application. They can reside on things like Facebook Messenger app or on Slack or Kik or WhatsApp, and they create an interactive conversational experience. So, for example, have you ever interacted, Robert, with a chatbot at all?
Oh yeah, a bunch.
Okay, some are kind of, we call them dumb bots. They're like guided conversations where they're asking you questions and you're tapping a button or giving an answer. And then there's other bots like what we're doing, which are fully intelligent, that have talking animated characters. You talk to it, it talks back to you. They have artificial intelligence and deep machine learning, so they get smarter and smarter over time. But, it's really about providing some kind of a conversational experience and then being able to provide some kind of functional value, like being a virtual assistant or a concierge bot, or being able to do sales funnels or replace email marketing. There's lots of things you can do with chatbots these days.
Well, awesome. Well, I think as far as this whole chatbot things go, I think I've seen far too many of the dumb bots, and I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect because I hear about all these possibilities and all these cool things that are happening, and then when I go and look out in the wild, it's all like either things like guided conversation, or they use it as a sort of a broadcast platform where they can say, hey, we have a discount on this, or here's some link. So I feel like it's sort of like, it almost feels like we're stuck in no man's land here, where it's like they're not being used for their full potential. Is that something that you're seeing?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of, especially in the internet marketing world, there's a lot of companies that are creating those. We don't do that. My company, Bot Nation, we create full software applications that have a chatbot at the front end, but they also have a full database on the back end. So ours are intelligent. They have artificial intelligence. Like I said, we've developed, it's a really interesting story. We developed a technology, Robert, called active attention design. And I don't know, I can tell you that you and your audience, the short version of how that all came into being. It's a kind of an interesting story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so what happened, I run a business incubator too, Robert, called inViral, and we develop a lot of products and technology. That's my background, has been in tech and product development my whole life. And so I've been tracking chatbots and AI, and actually the first chatbot, a lot of people, and also artificial intelligence, goes all the way back to 1959. This is not something that like just appeared on the scene. It's just been, progressing with technology over time. Well, what happened the end of December of 2015, I got an article that I read was from Forbes magazine, and in there was a business intelligence report, Robert, and they were talking about the fact that more people were spending time on the top 4 messaging platforms like Facebook Messenger than they were spending time on social media, including Facebook. And I went, okay, we got a platform shift coming. Kind of like when we went from PCs to the internet to smartphones, and now we're moving into messaging as the new platform. And then conversation is what I call as kind of the new currency. Well, so I started playing around with these things. in May of 2016 because a month before, which the F8 conference is coming up here, I think next week again, but Mark Zuckerberg got up in April of 2016 and said, hey, we're opening up the Facebook Messenger application programmers interface for bots. And I said, okay, that's a big enough event where it's going to get in people's vocabulary, like your listeners. They're going to start hearing about chatbots, right? Because there at that time, there's about 2 billion people on Facebook Messenger. So I started playing around with this thing, and I built my first bot, and it was kind of a dumb guided conversation bot. But I had all I had at that time was a little emojicon, but I gave him personality. I call him Chase the chatbot. Now he's a fully talking animated robot. It's one of my brand persona characters. And I have a wellness center. It's a bricks and mortar store, Robert. And we did a little contest for our wellness center. Did really well. We got, about a 13-to-1 return on investment. We did Facebook Messenger ads. But the thing that kind of caught my attention, Robert, was, and I didn't ask people, I had several people either email me or message me through Facebook Messenger, and they said, that Chase guy was kind of funny. He cracked me up because I gave him a personality. So I thought, this is really interesting. Now, I have about 16 years of neuroscience brain research that I've done. I have a neuroscientist that I work with in my incubator. And we've done a lot of research into kind of, how does the brain work, especially in the limbic system, the reward circuit of the brain, because I've always wanted to understand, how do people actually make buying decisions, right? So I thought, okay, there's something going on here in how people are relating to this. That at that time was just emojicon. So fast forward a couple months forward, and we were going to jump on John Lee Dumas's show on Entrepreneur on Fire. I'm sure you know who he is, being in the podcast world.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is going to be good because, he has a lot of listeners. And I'm sure we're going to get several hundred people that would be interested in taking a look at something that we created. So we did a contest for a free chatbot. And I met with he's our experience architect. He's a brand architect. His name is Jared. He works in my company. And we started talking about, okay, well, what could we make? We know it can't be a human, but I don't want it to be a bot. I wanted it to be this third thing, Robert. So we used basically from the movie Castaway, we used Wilson, the volleyball. Remember that volleyball?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was perfect because Tom Hanks had this relationship with this inanimate object that was this volleyball, right, that he friended on this island because he was stranded there. So basically, he was the MC for this. Again, it was a guided conversation because we weren't where we are now in technology. But this bot was huge. It had a couple thousand lines of code. And the night before, I'd been watching this TV show called Survivor on TV. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not.
Yeah, but not in a bunch of years.
Yeah, it's been around forever. But I was sitting there kind of half watching it, and I thought, aha, that's what we'll do. We did this. I did this whole challenge, like a Survivor challenge with the chatbot, and Wilson was the MC. So we had a beach challenge, a hiking, and a fishing challenge. And these things, Robert, they were 3 to 5 minute experiences. Now, in the neuroscience world, we've done a lot of studies on human attention span and stuff in the brain, and it typically is around 8 seconds. And we know from the thousands of customers we've interacted with our bots, typically if a bot does not answer the human back in 8 seconds, they're gone. And you probably experienced that where a bot went dead and you're like, well, am I supposed to answer? What am I supposed to do, right?
Sure.
So basically what happened as a result of that, which was the huge aha for active attention design, was the fact that we had nearly 94% of the people, Robert, finish the entire experience, a 3 to 5 minute experience, which blew me away because I thought, well, if I can get a minute, that would be good. But the other thing that was the total aha is we had hundreds of people that either messaged us or wrote us long emails. And they basically said the same thing as Trace. They said, that Wilson guy was hilarious. I love that challenge that I did. You guys got a Wilson 2 coming out. They never said that bot. They always referred to him as Wilson or always referred to Chase as Chase, not the bot. Now, what's powerful about that, Robert, in neuroscience is what I have learned over the years from doing tests and studies and research is that in your brain with these characters, people are identifying with them as if they are real, even though in their cortex, their logic part of their brain, they know they're not. And that's very, very powerful. We're finding that through these talking animated characters, people are actually interacting with them. Through artificial intelligence, they're answering questions and the characters answering back. And so now you have a full interactive conversational service-based experience.
Well, geez, there's a lot to unpack there, and it's as far as the whole having the personality and the character, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, you think of Siri or Clippy or things like that, and you're also making me think back, and I totally forgot about this, but when I was a teenager, I was playing around with those IRC bots, like with Merc and stuff like that, where you could say, like, if someone said a curse word, it would instantly kick them out of the chat room. Or if they showed up, it'd be like, well, it's your 30-second time back here. Or there was, like, you could hook it up into a database and do a point system and stuff like that. And, but it felt like a lot of it was attention getting, and there was like that character component, but a lot of it seemed really like sort of silly and useless. And is that a problem? Is that okay? Because it just seems like a lot of it is just like, I don't know, like playing a little bit of a game, like have them, like answer questions or earn points in some way. And I guess I just sometimes have a problem making a connection between the grabbing their attention, dealing with the character, keeping them engaged, versus how the heck does this make money? Yeah,
so those are all really good questions, Robert. So I'll give you an example, just so you can kind of, and then you run a business or two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your business as well, because I'm going to kind of show you exactly how you can apply. But let's go over just to kind of get your brain percolating on this a little bit. So we work with a lot of large, both different celebrities. Like, for example, we work with Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank in bots that we develop. We develop whole franchise system bots. So let's talk about a franchise system. So in one of the franchise systems we have, they're a home service system, right? And they're bricks and mortar. They have craftsmen that go out and do like handyman repairs, like they'll fix a faucet or replace a toilet, right? The problem is, what do you do when the customer service rep or the office is closed, but yet customers are calling after hours?
Use the bot.
We use the bot. We have a solution for that. And it also plays in very well with millennials, because millennials would prefer to message and text and talk on the phone. So the way our system works is this. People can dial a phone number, or they can text a keyword to a particular number, and it will produce a link that is the bot. They tap on the link on their phone. The bot opens up. Now, we don't use Facebook Messenger or any of those, and I'll explain why in a second, because of what's happened with Facebook. We have our own platform we've developed with our own progressive web app, our own chatbot platform, our own artificial intelligence. But our platform pops up, and basically the bot then comes up and starts talking to you and says, okay, so tell me what's going on in your house. And it troubleshoots. It's like, okay, oh, you have a leaking toilet. Okay, would you like to figure out like what the quote would be to fix your toilet? They can go off and through the database, they'd ask some questions, and it can go pull and calculate what that would be based on that particular franchisee's labor rate, material cost, markups, service charge, and it can produce the quote. So it becomes an intelligent solution, not just a dumb bot. Then it will ask, do you want to explore, do you want to get that scheduled, or do you want to look at replacing your toilet? Well, if they say, well, I'd like to look at replacing my toilet, the database can serve up a gallery of images where they can look through the different toilet brands like Kohler and American Standard and Toto, and they can say, well, I want to try that one. Now, would you tell me what the quote would be for that? And the bot can calculate the quote. And then they would say, okay, do you want to repair it or do you want to replace it? Oh, well, I want to repair it, I decided. So it's less expensive. So then it would be like, well, do you want to schedule an appointment? Sure. So then it will go in and it will collect the information from the customer, and it will actually send it through the API into that company's scheduling appointment software. So when they come in the next day, they have 4 or 5 new appointments sitting in their appointment scheduler. We even have the ability now to, like for the Kevin O'Leary bot, he goes around the country and speaks, does different events. Imagine having a bot that not only helps them register for the event, Robert, but it can remind them 2 days before, a day before, and even on that day, our bots can say, oh, well, you live here, the event's here. It calculates the drive time, and it will say, would you like to have driving directions to that? They just tap the button, and through the Google API, it gives them driving directions right inside the bot.
Super cool.
I mean, these are all things that can be done now with our technology. So now that you've kind of got that, let's talk about your business. So tell me, like, one of your businesses, what do you do?
So one of my businesses, I sell a plugin that backs up WordPress websites, and then the upsell to that is like set up your WordPress site, create a whole sales funnel, things like that.
Okay, and you have certain businesses that you sell to, I imagine, right?
Yes.
Okay, so give me like 2 or 3 examples of different businesses that might buy that plugin.
Okay, one business is someone who has a digital product to sell and wants to have like a sales letter and a membership site and things like that for it. Another business that has that might be a brick and mortar store, or like a online contractor who sets up websites for others and wants the ability to set up a website for a company and be able to back it up or clone it.
Okay, perfect. So in that case, an example of how you'd utilize our platform is we have what's called, have you ever heard of Webview technology at all, Robert?
Webview? No.
Webview.
Webview? No.
Okay, so Webview gives us the ability to actually put website pages inside of our bot platform. So what we can do is we can first do a survey, and we could ask your potential client, okay, tell me, what kind of, are you a business owner or not? Yes or no. Okay, what kind of business do you own? And one of the choices could be, well, I'm a digital publisher versus I'm a contractor. And we can go ahead and we could say, would you like to see how people are utilizing, business owners just like you, utilizing my plugin that would benefit your business? So not only can we do custom video calls from the database for like the contractor that would show them exactly how your plugin works for that type of application, but it could serve up customized testimonials from people that are contractors in the same gender, in the same age, just like them. Now you're getting very powerful, because now you're serving up a customized experience that's tailored to what they are all about, not a one-size-fits-all solution in a sales funnel.
Okay.
And I will tell you, Robert, right now with our platform and where the technology is, you don't need ClickFunnels anymore. You don't need lead pages or any kind of landing pages. You don't need Aweber, Constant Contact, MailChimp. All that's gone, because it's all collapsed down into the hub, this conversational hub that we have, that we built, that has the progressive web app and the chatbot and the artificial intelligence platform.
So this is starting to make a lot of sense to me, because a couple of weeks ago I needed to call AAA to have them change a flat tire, and a person didn't ring. It was like a tree, an automated system, and it went through first like the usual stuff, like press 1 for this, 2 for that, type in your numbers, but then it got to a point where they had me just speak my problem out, and I was surprised at how well the speech recognition worked, and it got me sort of steered over to the area that I wanted. And the whole transaction, I didn't even talk to a person until the tow truck showed up. I told them I needed the tire changed, and they asked like, are you in a safe place? Are you at this address? That's your home address. Do you want it right now? And then within, it was superior to the old school way in a bunch of ways. It was like, didn't have to deal with a person, didn't have to wait on hold. It was done in, not even a minute. And then it was probably cheaper for the company on the receiving side of things, because they didn't have to deal with any extra employees for that. It was just all done through the system. And I've been trying to figure out these last couple of weeks, like how to apply that, because sometimes with the like you said, the dumb bots, or where there's like the sort of the survey bots, I was like, well, how is this different than navigating a website? But as you're kind of explaining some of these scenarios, it makes a lot more sense, where you create all these sort of what ifs, this huge database, where maybe if someone use your stuff, they might only go through 5% of it, but it seems like it sort of helps to keep the focus and keeps people from being overwhelmed. Like if there was a whole website and it's like, choose from this list of 20 things what sort of plumbing service you need, then they'd be like, I have to go through a list, I'm not even sure what I'm looking at. But it's like, if you just put that one prompt in front of them, and then it kind of inches things along, the progressive web app, as you say, then it's like, it makes a lot of sense where it kind of guides them to their destination, and it maybe builds their query a little bit at a time. But if they were going to try to navigate a website or with like all kinds of links and navigation, they just give up before they started.
Yes, and you hit the nail on the head, Robert. Really, if you could boil it down, we boiled it down to basically 3 phrases: less friction, less noise, more effective conversations. And that's really what this is all about. Speaking to what you talked about with the experience you had, yes, you did probably, it was a bot experience. We have the capability now where speech to text, where you can talk to our bots in over 100 languages, and it translates it into text. And then the character then can come back and give you a response. So, no matter where you are in the world, you have that capability. Talking about like customer service, one of our clients, they're the largest hot tub manufacturer in the United States. And back when I started developing these customer service bots, I didn't realize, I was talking to the vice president of marketing for this company, and basically he was asking me, he said, could you do like a customer service bot that sits on my website? I said, yeah. He said, so it's there 24/7 and the bot's always there to answer questions. I said, yeah. And I said, not only that, but during business hours, it will know when it's business hours. And if a person wants to talk to a live human being through chat or through voice, it can hand it over to them seamlessly. And he goes, I want one of those. He goes, do you realize how much money that's going to save me? Now, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I did some research, Robert, and I found out for a company, the average, when you add up salary and benefits, the average cost of a customer service rep in a company is $44,000 in the United States and Canada. He said he was going to save over 10 people that he would have to hire this next year. That's almost $500,000. And that's money to the bottom line every single year. Customer service is going to be changing in that there'll be less customer service reps, but the ones that are there, they can handle the really complex type situations. But their other role is going to be training the artificial intelligence of the bot to get smarter and smarter. And that's where this is all going. And that's what we provide, to our clients.
And that's something where that's another kind of an aha I had recently with the chatbot stuff. Like I saw right before this call, I was looking on your Twitter a little bit, and I saw that you developed a bot for Heather Havenwood, I think, and she's been on my show twice, and she was explaining chatbots this last time, and just a real light bulb moment for me was she was explaining that, well, you could, as you know, she uses her bot for people to come and say, well, what do you need help with your marketing? And then they put in the response, and then she has some of these triggers, these keywords there. But if there is no keyword for what they said, then it goes to a human. So I thought that was really cool, that it's not that the bot has to necessarily replace the person, but that the bot maybe handles 90% of requests, and then the human that's on the other end only has to handle 10%, and they can be, like you said, better trained or spend more time on those complex things, or themselves train the bot. And like I said, I've seen a lot of these Facebook bots, and I've got a bot myself, but I've used it a little bit, but not as much as I should. And you said earlier on that you're sort of moving away from the kind of constricting platform of Facebook Messenger for these web apps that you have. So could you explain like kind of what that is, what that looks like? And because I'm not even sure, like when you say you use the web app, does that mean like I install one, or what does that look like exactly?
Yeah, that is actually a really good question. And let's talk about that. All you guys that are listening out there, you probably, and I'm sure, Robert, you're fully aware, what happened, the end of March, about 6 or 8 weeks ago. Basically, Facebook got, for whatever reason, with the Cambridge Analytica, they had a lot of turmoil. And as you know, Mark Zuckerberg got drug in front of Congress. Well, in the end of March, they put a pause on all new bot development. So basically, everybody was developing bots for Facebook Messenger. You can't develop, and it's still on pause. Now, maybe tomorrow I think starts F8, and there might be some changes there. But the thing about it is, we work, maybe for the little internet marketing guy, that's okay. But we work with very large companies or very high-profile people. And the question I get asked all the time is, well, okay, this really concerns me because what if Facebook changes in the future and now I have all my data and everything up there? And I said, point well taken. So we went off, we developed what's called our own platform, our own progressive web app. Now, the reason why we have the chatbot platform, but what you're speaking of, this progressive web app, is why would you want one of these if you're a listener to Robert's show? Well, first of all, you may be aware native phone apps are dying. In fact, most people on their phones use typically only 3 apps and the rest you never use. 80% of the use is by 3 apps and 3 apps alone, kind of like Uber or Airbnb or Facebook. But they're dying. They're going away. The other thing is it's a hassle to have to download phone apps from Google Play and iTunes. So what a progressive web app is, it looks like a native phone app. You load it to your home screen on your Android or iPhone, but you do not go through the Google Play or iTunes store. So therefore, you don't have to give them any money. Secondly, it has a much lower footprint because it's a web app. It's kilobytes versus megabytes. And if you think about people all over the world, they don't necessarily have the iPhone 10 or the Android or the Samsung 9 Plus. They're dealing with older phones. You have to concern with memory. The other thing progressive web apps can do, Robert, is they do push notification, just like regular phone apps. They also can do offline functionality. So if you are in Africa, where you may not always have good Wi-Fi or cell phone connection, you can still use our progressive web app platform just like you would if you were online. And when you get back online, it automatically background syncs to the platform. So you have all these benefits. The other thing about a progressive web app is what's called W3C compliant, which means it's searchable by Google. So Robert, if you had one of these and they were searching for what you did with your plugin or one of your businesses, it can be found on Google. They click the link and it can download the progressive web app to their phone instantly. Okay. Then when you have the chatbot platform, now the bot pops up, starts interacting and talking with you. It's just another screen. So the user doesn't know when they're in the progressive web app or they're in the chatbot, and really would they even care? It doesn't matter because they're having this conversational experience. They're getting what they need in a service or getting an explanation or getting an education. And we can do pretty much anything. We can do online university training. We can do all kinds of sales funnels. We can do customized data delivery. Basically, whatever anybody can think of in their business, our platform can do, and it can live outside of Facebook Messenger, and it can live outside of Facebook. It doesn't have to be tied to some other platform where you don't know when they're going to take a left turn on you.
Well, this is super cool. You're blowing my mind here because, you're making me aware of things that I didn't know about this because I do a lot of WordPress plugin coding. And I'm not super up to date on the app creation and things like that. And for the longest time, when people would throw around the term web app, they were basically saying, well, a web page that's sized down to the phone screen sized, or you could take this, you could basically bookmark a web page to your home screen. But I had no idea that the protocol, their technology had advanced to the point where you could do the push notifications, the offline mode. I mean, this is all really cool stuff. And if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like we don't necessarily need to ignore Facebook or say, oh, Facebook sucks, I'm getting off of there, but maybe hedge our bets a little bit and not rely 100% on the whims that they might change the rules, so that we can be on Facebook Messenger, but also have our own web app here, so that way we're not dependent on them.
Yeah, that's entirely true. I wouldn't say, don't ditch Facebook. I'm not of that ilk that is talking about that. But the thing about it is that, first of all, as you know, Robert, I don't care what business you are, even in our wellness centers or bricks and mortar, it's always about the business that has the data has the power, right? So you don't want to be beholden to any company. And you guys, here's the thing. I've used Zapier tools. I've used Integromat. They're good, but they also do break. If you're dealing with a lot of data, I've had those links break. I don't want to be shoving things through integrations like that. I want to put the data right inside a database. And that way I have it and my clients have that data and we can utilize that data to the benefit of the business. So that's why we're doing that. You could still do social media. We do, just so you know, Robert, we can do a phone call that activates the link to the bot. We can do a text message that activates the link to a bot. We can do a link inside social media posting or Facebook Messenger ads. And by the way, that was another thing. You're probably aware of this, Robert, but back in the middle of January 12th, Bloomberg titled it Facebook Faceplant. That's when Zuckerberg came out and said, well, guess what, guys? We're going to pay attention more to friends and family. You businesses are going to not get as much play in the news feed, right? And they're going to change the algorithms, which they had been doing for a while. It wasn't just on January 12th. That had been going on for a while. But our clients noticed a huge jump in their cost per lead when they went from a newsfeed ad to their website, almost doubled. Whereas when we went from a Facebook Messenger ad into Facebook Messenger, they were going from like $10 to $20 a lead. We actually are right now, and I can't guarantee it's going to be that way forever, but our cost per lead is still around $1 to $3 per lead staying in that platform. And then we move them right away out into our own platform. So we have a strategy that keeps the cost down, plays by the Facebook rules, because I still love their data engine as far as demographics, geographics, psychographics is great. You still want to utilize that, but you want to get into your own platform as soon as you can.
Right. I hear you. It sounds like Zuckerberg is a great guy for inventing Facebook, but he's looking out for himself. He's not looking out for you, which is totally okay. So we should look out for ourselves as well and build our own list outside of Facebook or outside of whatever sort of platform that we're using. So if people are listening right now today and they say, this whole chatbot idea sounds great, the idea of having someone else basically do the magic for me sounds great, whether it's that Kevin O'Leary model with the home service stuff or things like that. But how would people know if they're a right fit for you? How would they be able to identify if their business is a good fit for what you do?
That's a great question, Robert. What we do, you can go to our website at chatbotnation.co. And down at the bottom, we have some of our clients, I think you saw them down there, that are down at the bottom. You guys can play with those bots down there. But there's a button down there. You can schedule what we call a discovery session. It's free of charge. You can go in there. Then we talk about your business. I actually, typically for businesses, I'll do if you're doing Facebook ads or you're doing podcast shows or you're doing email marketing or social media, I'll give you a return on investment analysis. We take you through a whole procedure to say, okay, look, if you're going to invest in this platform, what is the potential return on investment for you? Because I understand you're businessmen and women. If you're going to invest some money, you want to see what could I get for a return on that. So we do that if you have an established marketing program. I will tell you, Robert, for our company, if you guys are using ManyChat, you're not our client. That's a very low-level system. It's okay, but it has very limited functionality compared to what we're actually doing. So we look for companies, typically they're like $500,000 and up to $250 million. So if you're in that range and you're a going concern and you are doing marketing and you are generating revenue and you want to really create a software application platform that does all of this functionality that we talked about, that's the kind of client that fits us.
Super cool. All right, so ManyChat is a good place to start, but not for you guys. You guys are for if you want to create something really innovative and amazing. So chatbotnation.co. And off the top of your head here, Peter, is there anything that's like really cutting edge as far as like the bot functionality is concerned, or something that's like almost there? I'm just thinking of like what's something that's like really advanced and just like is amazing, going to change the whole world with chatbots.
Well, I will give you guys a kind of a little sneak peek behind the kimono of something that we're working on that I think you'll like, Robert, since you're a coder and you're a geek like me. We have a team of data scientists that I work with on our team. And imagine, guys, if you have a company or you have people that are doing inside sales. And think about them talking to a prospective client and the client talking back to them. We're developing data science algorithms that not only model that data, but can measure in real time the voice frequency and the voice amplitude and give you a gas gauge from red to yellow to green on the predictive sentiment likelihood that that person is going to buy with you that's on the phone based on what you're saying to them and what they're saying to you. And then we have the artificial intelligence in the background that's monitoring that can then give analysis and talk to the prospective inside sales rep and tell them, here's where you could improve, and here's some training mechanisms to make you better.
Interesting. So are you saying like the artificial intelligence will pick up on if they're using more buying keywords, or if they're talking in a more excited pace, or if the salesperson is mirroring their language, things like that?
Yeah, all of that. We can, through data science modeling and artificial intelligence, we can now create a whole venue. We can tell you, Robert, from data science modeling, which email subject lines work better, which videos are working better, which advertisements are working better based on doing the data modeling and using our data science algorithms. So we're entering a whole new world now where it's not just about interactive conversations, although that's a big part of it. It is about how do you utilize data science and artificial intelligence and what we call active attention design, serve it up in a package to create almost a frictionless experience for your customers and clients where they're actually going to enjoy it. They're choosing their own journey, but they're getting all of this intelligence that's working to help them out behind the scenes.
Well, craziness. I mean, I can't wait. And you always hear about the evil uses for artificial intelligence, like how in China they have all their surveillance cameras and the facial recognition, and the artificial intelligence automatically issues jaywalking tickets because they can narrow down very closely to like 99% certainty that the person jaywalking is the person who gets the ticket. So you always hear about the evil uses, but it's good to know that the future is looking up and is bright, and that we can use this technology for good as well to make a better impact, grow our business, make more money, and most importantly, get people to where they want to go, right? Instead of them having to fumble around with something on the phone or something on a website where they're clicking around, now we can just help anticipate their needs and get them to where they want to go. So, I mean, exciting stuff ahead as long as we make sure to be on the cutting edge and get there before our competitors do. So if you're interested in chatbots, if you want Peter and his team to take a look at that return on investment analysis for you, then the place to go right here, right now, even just to play with the chatbots, is chatbotnation.co. That's chatbotnation.co. And as we're about to wrap things up, sign off here, Peter, anything final to say before we close this off?
Yeah, one last thing, Robert, you mentioned here, and it always kind of, I always go back to this. You were talking about how do you, be cutting edge and beat out your competitors. Guys, maybe some of you have been around a little bit like me. I've been doing this for many, many years. I remember back in 1993 when domain names were free. And you could pick up pretty much whatever domain name you wanted. The internet was very nascent. It was just coming out. And I was playing around with it. Now, being a younger guy, I was not as, maybe as wise as I am now. And I could have picked up pretty much like insurance.com, vacationrental.com, and those things. And do you realize, guys, last year, both of those sold for over $35 million. Now, if you think of, boy, I should have invested in Facebook when it started, or Google, or Netflix. All I'm saying is this is an opportunity. If you're listening to Robert's show right now, late. You are right at the very beginning of some of these things that are going to create massive positive changes. We're one of the good guys. We're not one of the bad guys. But this is the time to get in, to get that competitive edge. I mean, we haven't even talked about blockchain and all that stuff, Robert. Maybe that's another show we can talk about and what we're working on there. But the point is, guys, if you've ever missed that, oh, I should have bought that house, or I should have invested in this, or I should have done that, don't be the should have on this one. You need to get in on this one now. You can do it in 2018, this year, and still be ahead of the game.
Go right now to marketeroftheday.com/iTunes to subscribe to the show, listen to other episodes, and